Hey guys, it's Jim Verraros hanging with Nick Gallo, the guy you know.
What's up? It's Nick Gallo, the guy you know. I'm here with the one and only Jim Verraros. Bro, how's I want to tell you, how have you been just first, before even with music and the whole craze of this industry?
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Thank you for
Yeah.
asking. I'm good. I think that pandemic has, shaken up a lot of people, and for some, have changed for the better, and some not.
Yes.
But I felt lucky that I had, my husband to go through, that with, and there are a lot of people
hmm
that weren't as lucky.
Yeah.
So, now that we're kind of coming out of it, things are slightly, back to normal. I feel good. I feel optimistic. I feel positive.
It's a good thing.
And I think all we can do as a just as a community is just continue to focus on bringing joy wherever we can. So let's focus on the positive.
Yeah, true. Because the positive, it's hard sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, this is
But
true.
yeah.
Yeah.
But first, we got to go back to the basics.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to talk so much about Idol, but just like, do you realize you're part of pop culture when pop culture was like at the pinnacle of, like, it'll never be that again. I feel today, like we just lived at a time that it was everything. We were on. I mean, you all were on every magazine cover, every newspaper, every talk show, every late night show. I mean, it was everywhere. Where today it's more social media.
Right.
So, like, do you ever think to yourself, like, I really was a part of a huge time in history?
I mean, I think about it sometimes. I mean, just so people understand, it's been 21 years. So, I mean, it's not like this just happened yesterday. And we didn't have social media back then. So
Yeah.
there was no Twitter, there was no MySpace, no Facebook. We had message boards on Fox.com. Like, that's how you would find out how people were reacting to your performance on American Idol. But I think when I look back 21 years and I look at people like Kelly, Justin,
Yeah.
Tamira, RJ, I think the beautiful thing about our season is that it truly was an opportunity for the American public to connect with us as people.
Mhm.
It wasn't about judge, feuds, behind the table. It wasn't about sponsorships or money.
Yeah.
I think you really connected with us. And so the show really was about the contestants, particularly about the top 30 and the top 10. So I'm grateful because what it did for all of us was it gave you a fan base,
Yeah.
which at the time, in any other way, Nick, as you know, would probably take years to cultivate. That's touring and doing meet and greets and just interacting with your fans. This gave us a built-in fan base so that after the show, we could take that
Yeah.
and deliver music and hope that it makes a connection.
Yeah. Like, did you realize? Because I feel, we have competition shows still today,
Mhm.
but it's different. Like,
Yeah.
we don't have, even like the winners don't even make an impact. Where I feel with Idol in the beginning, everyone could make, like, no matter what you placed, I feel you could make an impact some way, somehow, and
That's
get
true.
your music out there. If you want to do, film, theater, you could get out there and
Yep.
kind of, like you were saying, and have that fan base already. Um, like, did you know right away when you got eliminated, like, okay, it's time to go full fledged, or did you think like, oh, I want to take a break? Like, what was your mindset? I'm just curious.
That's a really good question. I took a beating on that show. I mean,
Yeah.
for those that watched, Simon did not like me. A lot of
Mhm.
people didn't like me, and I will be honest, I was very, out of my league, and I even knew that. I didn't give my best performance because, again, the more expensive it is to clear a song on television, which I'm not sure if you're familiar, when something is recent or a top 40 hit, it
Mhm.
costs a network a lot of money to clear it on national television. So we were limited in choices. I had 7 songs to choose from for the Motown, medley. And I was like, well, this wasn't really my song growing up. My parents were deaf and I didn't grow up with hearing parents where there was music playing in the house.
Mhm.
So I wasn't able to really cultivate a taste for music. Mine came very organically. So I wasn't my best on that show. I know that. But I think I did the best with what I had.
Yeah.
So after the show, I was like, I really want to start getting into acting. And so I wanted to find an agent or a manager, someone that could represent me and help me with opportunities. And a producer reached out. His name was Gabe Lopez. He's responsible for literally my entire like music career. He said, "No, you're going to do music, and I think you should, and you are good enough, and don't worry about what people think. And you're not Kelly, and you're not Justin. That's okay. Like there's a market for you too."
Mm-hmm.
So we started working together, and finally in 2005, I put out my first album. So I think you got to take a minute to sort of figure out what's
Yeah.
important to you, what feels right, because LA is very hard, and
It's a beating.
I mean it is, and it's like you've got to find good people around you. You have to make sure that you're being true to yourself, be authentic, be genuine, and just make sure that whatever you're doing feels right and feels real to you.
Yeah.
So
Well, I ask you too, like with being, because you were independent for your first debut album, did it feel good to have that freedom to kind of do it? Because you got to remember at that time, like a Kelly Clarkson,
right,
she couldn't do what she wanted to do. You know, your first couple albums with a label, you have
yep,
to do what they tell you to do,
yeah,
and that's just how it goes
right,
usually.
yeah.
So, what did that feel good at that time? Because I feel that's the norm today.
Yeah, no, I think it did feel good because when I pitched my album to Koch Records, which was just a small indie label in New
Hmm.
York, it was a finished product. All they had to do
Yeah.
was put it out. So I think it was nice that I was able to say, "This is who I am as an artist. I just need you to basically get it in stores for me." And so I was really lucky for my first album. I mean, being an openly gay pop singer in 2005, there were no other we didn't
Yeah.
have a lot of queer representation back then.
Hmm.
So there wasn't someone that a label could look at and say, "This is how we're going to model Jim Verraros after." There was nobody. So the first thought I think was, let's get him at in gay prides, right? Let's get
Hmm.
him to Kansas City and get him to Oklahoma, which is great, and I
Yeah.
loved being able to do those things. But I think that there was more beyond that, and
Hmm.
so that's where I kind of got a little pigeonholed, I think. But I did have a top 20, Billboard dance hit, in the clubs, and that was really nice to have, and to be an openly gay American Idol, artist and have something on the Billboard charts felt really reassuring to me.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And I
Yeah.
want to ask you too, how did it feel? 'Cause I know you just did your first film, and then your debut
Mhm.
album came out
Yeah.
like kind of
Yeah.
simultaneously. But I remember, I think you had your party at the Roxy Theater,
Yeah.
your premiere party for
Yeah.
your album.
Uh-huh.
How did that feel? Because I feel like the Roxy Theater, when you think of like if anyone that knows LA, Roxy Theater is like a legendary
Yeah.
place. Like, what did that feel that moment? Because I think about, I'm like, yo, that's cute. Like,
Yeah.
I've been to so many shows at Roxy, and there's legends that
Yeah.
play there, like beyond legends that play there.
I got lucky. Gabe, my producer at the time, had some great connections and was able to get me, my release party there, and I performed. And
Hmm.
Angela Peel, I'm not sure if you remember
Yeah.
her from Idol, but she's also a Chicago native.
Yeah.
Shout out to Angela, we love her. She came up and did backup for me, and she's just an incredible vocalist. But it felt really good. It was, I think you kind of don't think about it in the moment because you just want to like
Yeah.
perform your songs and get through your set list and make sure that people are like vibing
Yeah.
and liking it. But then I think after you start to realize like this was kind of crazy that I got to play
Yeah.
the Roxy in LA. So looking back, I was like, that is a really cool moment,
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Like, just a memory to have.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
it doesn't come every day,
It doesn't. No, that was a good one.
But
Yeah.
what do you think though? Say when you first auditioned and you had your debut album.
Yep.
What would you think would have been the pros and cons with social media at that time?
Ooh, that's a really, really good question. It's, from my personal experience having the message boards at the
Hmm.
time, you are sort of putting yourself out there for the people to say what they want. And, being 19, I came from a small town, Crystal Lake,
Yeah.
and, I was bullied for many, many years. And so I was familiar with the feeling of people don't like you and they don't know you. But it never makes it easy to
Yeah.
read the negativity, right? And they would tell us, don't look at the message board, just do not pay attention. But there's a part of you that just wants to know.
And it's that one bad message out of
You'll
the.
get 5 great, positive
Mhm.
things, but it's that one person that just wants to like,
Get under your skin.
take that
Yep.
knife and just like, and you're just thinking to yourself, you don't even know me. But if you knew me, you wouldn't say these things, and how
Mhm.
easy it is for you to sit behind a keyboard and a computer and say what you want. And so I think at that time, had we did have social media, oof, I think it would have been one of those things where like I would not have them on my phone. I would have to block that out.
Mhm.
But again, there's an upswing to that too, which is
Yeah.
followers and the ability to get a product into you know, hundreds of thousands of people in a very fast way.
Mm-hmm.
So I see both sides of it. I know, I think for me personally, it probably would have been really tough to deal
Tough,
with.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think about it, it's a kind of like you said, it's a blessing to build a fan base.
Yeah.
But in a way, you already had that, just like you were from everything else.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know what pop culture would it be like at
Ugh,
that in the early 2000s. I'm like,
I know. But I
it,
think it was good though, because it also made you present. You know, I think we hide behind our phones, and I'm guilty of it too. Like at night, you're lying in bed,
yeah,
and what are you doing? You're scrolling through your
scrolling.
phone, and it's like, put the phones away, like
Yep.
close your eyes or read a book, or like try to like just shut that part of your brain off. And it's hard to do because, you know, we are basically, you know, we're consumers, and so we're consuming a lot of information and a lot of news, and everything's clickbaity, and everything's about, you know, getting us to buy, to
Hmm.
react, to do all of these things. So it's important that we take some time to say, like, maybe we just put our phones down,
Yeah,
right?
and one thing I like too, I feel that you all got to experience when you went to like events and parties. Because today you go to events and parties,
Yeah.
everyone's on their phone.
Yep.
You actually got to live in the moment and appreciate and feel like even meet, network more people. Because I
It's
feel
so
like
true.
today everyone's on their phone, they're looking
Yeah.
down, and
Yeah.
you don't meet anyone at a
No.
party that literally has so many, you know, people you could network with.
Right. It's just for
And
that
it's
Instagram photo.
yeah,
And
for
it's
the one.
like life is beyond Instagram, guys,
Yes,
you know?
way more.
Yeah.
But what's, you know, you've lived a lot,
Yeah.
and this industry is no game. And I always tell anyone, I'm like, be prepared
Yeah.
because
Best of luck.
yeah,
Yeah.
best of luck.
Yeah.
And the way you were brought in, it was really full force. Like
Yeah.
you had no time to even kind of think about,
Mm-mm.
you know, what to do or how to do it. What's one thing you learned from the industry, and just something that you always told yourself, like, hey, I gotta do this
Yeah.
because it's too much.
It's a really good question. I think looking back, what I wish would have happened is I wish that there was a team of people that Idol would have helped kind of guide you for a year. You're voted off, the tour's over, you're in this very weird in between place of,
Yeah.
I had all this exposure. You know, do I go after a record deal? What's the right manager for me? How do I make sure that I'm generating revenue to live in
Hmm.
LA? What are my next steps and how do I get there? And I wish that there was almost like a consultant, like a group of consultants who would take you after you made the top 10 or even top 30 if you wanted to pursue it further and say,
Yeah.
we want to help you. Here are some of our recommendations. If you want to do them, great. But at least it would have given me some insight as to next steps and the best steps for me.
Yeah.
Because when you're off that show, it's like sayonara, kid.
So
Like you're on your own, and it's like when you're from a small town or you come in from Iowa or Kentucky and you're talented and you want to sing or perform or dance or whatever it is.
hmm
There's no blueprint to success. There isn't like you don't download an
yeah.
app for that, you know. So you have to navigate it. And being so young, I didn't know. I didn't know any better, you
Yeah.
know? And so I wish that they would have had a group of people that was there if you needed it, like resources or, you know, just a group of just experienced people in the entertainment industry that could say, you know, hey, Jim, if this is what you want to do, let me arrange for a
Hmm.
meeting for you or something. So that would have been really, really nice. And I think at the end of the day, the other thing I learned is make sure you have a rock solid group of people around you because you need it. Not everyone is your friend. Not everyone wants you to succeed. There is jealous, you know, there are jealous people out there, but the ones that love you and the ones that stick by you and the ones that tell you like it is, not what you want to hear,
Hmm.
that's your people. And like keep those close because LA is very hard and it's also really, really easy to find someone who you think has your best interest and just doesn't.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
Yeah. I give you all credit, anyone in them days, because it was rough.
It
I
is
feel like
rough.
even if you were rough, and I feel like it was rough for people signed and not signed
It's
because
true.
you didn't have like when you had, if you are signed and you won Idol or
Yeah.
runner up, you didn't have a voice,
What's
but
the
then
guarantee that
yeah,
it would
then it
succeed?
would work.
You know?
Yeah, and then you have to pay back
Yeah.
everything, they dished out for you,
If
and
they
then
waited too long to put your album out, you
ex-
missed the timing and it's all timing, you
it's
know?
all time, especially at that time. I
Yeah.
feel it was so much about timing and like just making sure everything equaled out
It's
perfectly because
true.
it's so. I wish. Wish it was all recorded on some like huge reality show, you know, outside of everything, minus American Idol, just everything.
Well, there's going to be a Netflix documentary, I am sure. There's going to be
Yes.
some kind of like huge, just I think a deeper look at what happens like life after Idol. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because that would be great to, I think, hear from other contestants too, to be like, what's your definition of success? How do you feel now? What's life like for
Yeah.
you? You know?
But you know, I know when you came back home, how was it getting into the bridal world? And I know you performed
Yeah.
as well at a
Yeah.
lot of bridal
Uh-huh.
conventions because I
Yeah.
remember hearing your name all
Yeah.
the time in the city, like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, Jim's performing here and Jim's performing here. How was it? Because you were so used to already a way of living,
Hmm.
you know, LA and
Yeah.
Hollywood, and you know, there's nothing like that. How was it like coming back home and just kind of humbling yourself almost in a way?
Well, I was humbled because my car was repossessed in LA because I was dumb and took my money from the tour. And I thought, let me buy a Lexus because that's what I needed at 19. And then, I thought I needed two phones because I was so
Good.
busy that I wanted one for business and one for personal. You make a lot of stupid mistakes when you're young and you have a little bit of money. Learn that the hard way.
Yeah.
So you lose things, you couldn't pay rent. And then I remember being booked for like an appearance in Indianapolis for I think it was a club or maybe it was a Pride I think, and I had my mom meet me there from Crystal Lake, and I said
Hmm.
I think I need to come home because I don't have anything left basically. Um, so it was hard. It was really hard to go back to the place that you thought you weren't going to end up
Yeah.
back at after that kind of experience. And I met someone through MySpace. I'm dating myself, but and he seemed to have it all together. He had his own business and his own home, and it was in the suburbs, and it felt very safe, and it
Yeah.
felt everything opposite of LA and trying to pursue entertainment. And so I wanted to kind of get involved, and bridal seemed fun. It seemed light. It seemed easy, and I kind of you know submerged myself in that world. And so I wanted to perform and I wanted to do things. I got really involved in the fashion side of the business, and ultimately that was a great learning experience in
Yeah.
how to kind of move on and how to find success in another area of your life, right?
Hmm.
So we got married, and then we were together for 11 years. Didn't work out, obviously, but I think what I take away from that is my ability to pivot and my ability to look at something else and say, all right, well, it's not a second album and it's not, a sitcom, but are you paying your bills? Do you have a roof over your head?
Yeah.
Are you in, a solid relationship with someone that cares about you? Success changed, I think, for me as to what I thought it was supposed to be into what it actually is,
Yeah.
you know?
Definitely. And that's one thing I have to give you so much credit for still having a passion
Thanks.
for it because you know like you said you had 12 years in between
Yeah.
of your new single
Yeah.
and you know you live a lot, you know, you think, and a lot of people give up
Yeah.
because it's so easy today, well especially in this time and
Well,
age.
what's going on now. It's just impossible.
Yeah, and it's hard, like
Yeah.
it's hard to still have a passion and pursue it and put the money up for it because
Also that.
that's the other thing people don't understand, like it's not just 1 2 3 you put it together
If
and you
you're
put
in
a
it for
song
the
out
money, you
there.
got to find another
Yeah, yeah.
career.
The money
It's
is
not
slim.
happening. Yeah.
It may come,
Yeah.
but it takes a long time for
A
the money
long
to come.
time. I mean, streaming and downloads, it's like, it's not a 99-cent purchase anymore. It's just a different game.
Yeah,
And it's harder when you've got, so many more artists out there, especially queer representation now is at an all-time high,
yeah.
which I
It's a
love.
normal thing now. Where back in the day,
We
back in the
had
early 2000s, and it was
none.
like you don't talk about that. It's frowned upon. It's
Right. You
negative
won't get a
press.
deal. You won't have a
Hmm.
career. Keep yourself in the closet. We need the female fan base to be
Yep.
able to, buy your music and spend their money. And I get it for the time, but that's what allowed me to say, okay, we have all these great people out there. Todrick Hall, who actually also came from Idol.
Yep.
We have Troye Sivan, who's killing it right now. Sam Smith, and their arc of how far they've come, with their
Huge.
identity and I think their relationship to music. And I just love how, just what they've done in just the last 3-4 years. That inspired me. So
Yeah.
that made me feel safe to be like, maybe Jim, there's still room for you here.
Yeah, definitely, and especially after like Sam and Kim Petras winning the Grammy, I was like,
Huge.
that's a huge accomplishment for that community. Like it's just a big deal, especially finally something good has
The
happened.
first trans artist to ever win a Grammy. Like
Which,
we are headed in the right direction.
yes,
You know what I
finally
mean?
something good is
Yeah.
happening, and and it's good work. It's not like
And
it's
it's a
just
great
happening. Yeah,
song.
it's a
It's a
great
great
song.
song.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I want to do some rapid fire, so
Okay.
it's something different.
All right.
Nothing crazy.
Okay.
But just some so people get to know you more.
Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite girl group?
Ooh, oh God, I'm torn. There's
Or
so many.
groups. You could
Fifth Harmony, and then I would say Girls Aloud.
Girls a
Actually,
lot.
yeah.
Okay. Favorite housewives show? Franchise.
I've never watched a single
None.
Housewives show ever.
Not even an
Not
episode.
even one.
Okay, don't start. It's kind of good. Yeah,
Great.
because then you get. Yeah,
That's what
you
I
get.
hear. I think I'm good. Yeah, I think I'll keep it that way.
Favorite movie or movies?
Ooh, I would say I'll give you like three.
Okay.
Clueless was like my Bible growing up. I love Requiem for a Dream. Very dark, but and totally screwed up. But I just love the acting in it. And then I would say like Devil Wears Prada is just like a classic, classic movie, and Meryl Streep is obviously a genius
Yeah.
in anything she does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Favorite boy band?
Oh, I think of all time, I mean, nothing beats NSYNC for me. I mean, I love this nostalgic time we're in right now
Yeah.
too, because like they're back, and you can tell like the Backstreet Boys are probably coming back, and I love it. I'm here for it. So,
favorite TV series?
ooh, I would say it's probably cheesy, but I love Friends. It always made me laugh, and it took me to a place of just, lightness, and it was fun to see the six of them, and their relationship kind of evolve over like the years. So, loved it.
How about favorite talk show?
Probably, I'm not biased or anything. No. I love Kelly Clarkson, obviously. And I think she's doing an amazing job. I think she really set the tone for this combination of, a really relatable host and an incredibly talented performer. So it's like you're getting this variety show meets, sit down interview. So I love that. And I think, it's just it just put her on an entirely different level. So I'm saying she's killing it. So give her all the Emmys. Just give them to her.
Who is your favorite male singer?
Oh, God. Of all time?
Yeah, just
George Michael.
George Michael? Okay.
He would have been, I met him once, and I remember, this is a funny story. I met him at Virgin in LA, RIP Virgin.
On Hollywood Boulevard, right?
Yes, yeah. And he was doing a signing for one of his albums, and I had my demo ready. This was after Idol, and I had been, working, and I was doing a performance for Kiss FM the next day. And I put my phone number in this little highlighter yellow, plastic cover with my CD, and I met him, and he had these like sunglasses on. He was very quiet and understated. And I said, "Here, this is my demo. You helped create this. I would not be here if it were not for you. Also, I'm performing tomorrow. Do you want to come see me? There's my number. Bye." And then he was very like, okay. Creeper, as he probably like tossed it in the garbage, but whatever. That's my story.
But still, to meet George Michael, I mean,
huge.
That's
Obsessed.
huge. That's an icon.
He's best of the best. That voice, as a songwriter, he's just incredible.
Definitely. I agree with you there. So I know you said, Kelly Clarkson's your girl.
Love, yep.
What's your favorite moment with her, would you say?
Oh, my favorite moment with Kelly Clarkson? Gosh, there's a lot.
Or one of your favorites, because I know.
Well, we had some fun moments, and then there were some. So during tour, we would do meet and greets, and there would be, all 10 of us sitting at a very long table, and it was always done by like order of elimination, right? So I was all the way at the end because I was
she's on the whole other side,
and Kelly was like all the way at the other side. And then one day we just said like, screw it, let's just sit wherever you want, right? Well, I was probably in between Kelly and Justin one day. So the minute people got to like, it was like me, they weren't even talking to me, they were talking to Kelly. And I was like, I'm never sitting next to you ever again, because nobody cares about me. They only care about her. But a fun one was, I will say, when you make it to Hollywood, it's not Hollywood, it's actually Pasadena. When you make it there, and the first rounds start, you're in this huge auditorium, this huge theater, and you're standing on the theater, and there's about 35 or 45 of you in a straight line, and you are basically given two options to sing, this one or that one. And Kelly was maybe 5 or 6 people down from me. This is the first time I'd ever met her and heard her. And I sang my song. I think it was like an Enrique Iglesias song, and Kelly sang, and I remember just like pulling my head out of the line, and I was just like, who the fuck is this girl? And I like lost it. I was like, this is it. Like, this is the one. Like, I'm gonna go home. Everyone can go home. It's the one. I will just never forget hearing that tone, this just confidence, this soul from this like very young girl. And I was just immediately taken with her.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
You had that feeling like
Crazy.
Yeah,
I
right.
was on the same stage as Kelly Clarkson. Like, what? Crazy.
What would you say right now is your favorite reality show?
We're not like huge on reality, but I guess if I had to pick one,
Or even from the past, because there has been a lot of great past reality
I mean, The Real
shows, too.
World. I feel like The Real World like was just always just classic, and you know,
I miss it.
Me too, actually.
It was good.
There were some good Chicago ones too.
There was some good.
Let's bring that back.
Yes. So Jim.
Yes.
This year.
Yep.
September was a big month for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You released your first single
in 12 years.
In 12 years.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Take My Bow.
Yeah.
How did it feel once you got together with who you wanted to work with and just getting into the studio again? Oh. How was it? Because it's a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a long time. I think I just felt like, because there was no label, there was no expectation, there was no pressure. I think it was just fun. And I got to work with Lave on this track. So he's produced for Chance the Rapper. He's worked with Mac Miller. And so I was really lucky to have him on this this track. And I teamed up with this incredible songwriter out of Oklahoma City. His name is Jace Green. Just so talented. He's like 23. He literally taught me about TikTok. And I was like, what? God, I'm old. But it was just this perfect match. It was like this perfect alignment of the stars where like the track was right, the lyrics were right, the vibe was right, and it just happened so fast. And, you know, my producer flew out from LA. We recorded it in Chicago, and it just worked. It just was like magic. And when things don't feel pressured on you, when you have no one to answer to, and this really is just sort of a side gig, right? It's just fun. When you keep it that way, when you keep it light, zero expectations, it just feels good. And when you start to do the interview circuit, people are like, what's next? And what are you doing? And is there an album? And where's the video? And I'm like, I'm like, give me a minute to like settle down for a second. It's fun to do those things. But I think what worked so well is that it just really felt effortless. And so getting into the studio and being like, you know, like I'm in my head already. And I'm like, you better kill it. And you better sound good. And it's been a long time. Like, what do people want from you? Like, what are you going to deliver? I think the minute I just stood back from it all and I just said, just have fun. Just have fun. And if people love it, great. And if they don't, well, they don't. Right. So like, I have a great job. I love my career. I love what I do. I don't need for this to like make me $1 gazillion. It's not a make or break moment for me. It's something I love that I want to share.
Definitely.
And that's where I think for me mentally, it's been very healthy, you know?
Yeah. I want to ask you because it was, you know, September 15th. Was the big day.
Yeah.
So how was your anticipation? Because I'm sure you didn't want to like send it to friends or like family. Like, no, wait till the day. Cause it's the official day.
It's like so funny. Yes. It was like the night before and I'm like lying in bed and I think I got up at like 12 because in my head, I'm like, it's midnight. I wonder if people are talking about it. And then I was like, oh, but West Coast, it's only 10. So maybe check it like 2 a.m. And then I was like, no, Jim, go to sleep. Just like go to bed and figure it out. So there was definitely like that in my head of I want people to like it. Of course I do. And then like once the next day kind of happened and I was kind of like, you know, just checking out what people were saying. It felt really good. I mean, a lot of it has been really positive, and I'm sure there are people that, you know, don't care for it, but I just think that
you picked a good track. I think
it was a nice late summer, you know, kind of darker fall like vibe. And I think also too, the remixes that are coming, and I'll play one for you later, is fire. And Tommy Sunshine is doing my US remix. So if you don't know him, he is a like legendary like house DJ. He's done stuff he just did Kim Petras and Nicki Minaj. He's done Harry Styles. He's done Katy Perry, Sophie Tucker. I mean, this guy is just a legend. So the fact that he said yes to doing this track for me, it just made my world. So, you know, it's baby steps. We're going to start with 3 remixes in the UK, and those come out October 6th.
Soon.
So the goal is let's get it to chart there. Let's get it top 5, and then let's kind of see how that builds a buzz in the US.
Hmm.
I just feel like it's smart for artists to kind of test things out overseas, like Madonna. Me and Madonna
Yep.
have that in common. And see like what the vibe is, and then start to build off of that buzz, and then capitalize it, here in the US.
I think I'm so happy you're doing that
Yeah,
though, because I feel like a lot of people sleep on Europe or
it's a
UK or
huge market.
and I feel like that's sometimes better than America. I'm not gonna
Totally.
lie.
I mean,
Like,
I would love to do like a performance at in the UK. Like that would
yeah,
be awesome.
huge. Yeah, that
Huge.
would be amazing.
It's
Like,
a
I
perfect
can't wait.
song for that too.
Yeah, and I feel like they gravitate more to pop dance music
Agreed.
than
Yes.
America. Don't get me wrong, we
We
do
do.
too, but it's a slower
I think they love
pace.
it.
They love it more. Like they
Yeah.
truly embody it. I feel when you're
Yes.
out in the UK. So
Totally.
I'm so
Agreed.
happy you're doing that. Like
Yeah.
UK and US different remixes.
Yeah.
And if one hits bigger, it could always come to the other territory.
It's
That's the
true.
nice
You have to
thing.
give people options. And I think too, a big part of it was when I did the single release, I wanted to do an a cappella and I wanted to do an instrumental because listen, if you want to remix it yourself and spin it somewhere, great. I love that because at
Yep.
the end of the day, artists need exposure. And so
Hmm.
if there's a remix you don't love, take that a cappella and make something that you love out of it. Like
Yeah.
I'm all about it. So I just wanted it to get into as many ears, as many clubs, as many, elevators, wherever I can, because at the end of the day, a listener is a listener. And
Yeah.
so, it's all about just getting it in front of people,
And another thing I love you did when when I first purchased it when it came out,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so like you were saying, instrumental
Yep.
as well as a cappella, and you did the
And
sped up.
I did. And I did
Because
not.
that's smart because that's the new
Everyone's doing it.
it's the new craze.
Nobody, Jace, who co-wrote the song with me, he was like, no, Jim, SZA does it and it's huge. So her Kill Bill track had a sped up. And I was like, well,
Yeah.
what is that? And she's like, well, that's what's getting played on TikTok.
Yeah,
So
Nicki Minaj just did it
yes,
too
so
recently.
do a sped up version. I was like, all right, I'll do
Mhm.
it. And so I think there's music has evolved so much since I was, in it, 20 years ago, but also TikTok is now going to have its own Billboard chart. So it just goes to show you that the industry is evolving with the time. It's like that matters because it can
Yeah.
also break an artist just in a viral sense,
Which is crazy to
huge.
believe that today.
I
but
know.
I'm just so used to the old way.
Like the
so-
physical sales,
Yeah,
like
man.
it's so different than a stream or like a TikTok,
And it's so weird not having like a physical,
I
because
know.
back in
We
the
used
day
to
it was
love
always
that.
I still
Like you would
love
read the thank yous, you'd read
Yeah,
the
yeah,
lyrics,
the
you'd see
lyrics, the
the photos,
production,
the booklets,
the
you'd want
everything.
all of that.
Who did
yeah.
the artwork? All of
Totally.
it was in there.
I remember, yeah.
So it's so different. Like where I have to still get used to it.
Well,
but-
vinyl is kind of having a bit of a comeback too.
Yeah, vinyl's definitely.
Yeah.
But everything else, I just feel like, oh, it's
Gone are the days of a
Yeah,
CD.
it's-
I know, it's crazy. Yeah.
But once the remixes come out,
Yeah.
like you said, I know you're taking your time.
Yep.
But is there anything, still on your bucket list?
Yeah.
That you want to do with
Ugh,
music?
Of course.
Like I said, I know you don't have to do it right away because
Yeah.
in this day and age, you kind of go with the flow. You
Right.
don't have it so much planned because it's just not worth
Or
it.
you go with the checkbook if
Yeah,
you
you
have
go
that. But you and I have talked about this too, and I think that what I would love to do, and I've never done this in my entire career, is to have a video. I think a video helps elevate a song. I think that for me, and the market that I'm kind of aiming towards. Let's say, for example, just gay bars, for example,
Mhm.
right? Whereas like literally, it's like our community, and we feel so at home and so safe. A lot of those have TVs.
Yeah.
Sports bars have TVs for
TVs.
music videos to play, and I think it helps to bring a visual to a song. A lot of things come out of visuals. It's great promo. You can cut it and chop it in a million
Mhm.
different ways. So I would really like to do that. Again, it's funding. I mean, and for those of you that don't know, if you're an independent artist, making music, producing music, remixing music, and videos are expensive. And
Crazy
it's
expensive.
about making sure like what's a priority, where's the value going to come from if I do this video, because it's one song. So
Yeah.
8 to 10 grand on a video is not uncommon to spend. So that's on the short term.
Okay.
But honestly, like I was thinking about if I was going to do like either a remix or a duet with people, like obviously, like I don't even know if she would ever do this, but I was thinking like, oh, if I were going to do like the Kelly Clarkson show, like I would want Kelly to do like the second verse of "Take My Bow" with me,
Oh,
and
that
I
would be
would love her
amazing.
to
That
do
would-
it. I mean, that would be the worst thing because then it would belong to her at that point because anything she sings belongs to her. But that would really be awesome, and just to like reconnect and be like a fun reunion moment.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of, I mean, Kim Petras, I'd love to do something with her. Adore Delano, I'm not sure if you're, a Drag Race fan, but like
Amazing.
Adore is
Adore.
incredible. She was also on Idol as well. Um, and I would love to do something with Adam Lambert. I think Adam's incredible. There's a lot of talent from Idol,
Yeah,
specifically, but um, I'd love to just work with people that get it, that give a shit, that care, and that believe in the project, rather than the amount of downloads or the amount of views or the amount of likes. Like I would love to just have things that grow organically with music lovers.
definitely. I
So
like that. Like,
yeah.
I like that you're taking your time and not
Yeah.
rushing because so many people rush and it's just not worth it anymore.
I
It's
can't. You
just,
got to do this right. If you do
and like
this
you were saying,
right,
like with a music video, I know so many people that rush music video and I'm like,
oof,
it's not quality or it's
nope.
not what they
I
wanted.
won't do it. I
Yeah,
won't
it's
do
just
it.
not worth, like, it's just why do you want that to represent
Right.
something you really didn't envision in the end? So it's like, just wait until,
Just do it right.
yeah,
Take
do
your
it
time.
right.
Take your time.
Yes.
And that's why for this project, I was like, if I'm going to do a single,
Hmm.
it's got to be a great song, well written, well produced. I want a photo shoot. I'm going to do this all in because then it just feels right. It
Yeah.
feels like the people were like, this was worth waiting for.
Hmm.
You're doing it right. And so maybe like a 3-4 song EP, that probably sounds like something that is doable.
And that's the new
We're
wave.
not in an album world
Yeah,
anymore,
it's not an LP world anymore. It's
Yo,
an
it's
EP,
crazy.
which is crazy to believe, but it's just it's a new norm.
It's a new norm, and I'm willing to to experiment and see what works. But let's again, baby steps, and we'll see how the feedback is overseas and go from there.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Jim, I want to wish you all the best of
Oh,
luck.
thanks, Nick. I appreciate it.
I can't wait to hear the remixes.
Thank you
I
so
can't wait to
much.
see what other territories think
Yeah,
of
me
them
too.
as well, and
Me
just
too.
see the reception and like, because you just don't know.
You never know.
You really don't. And I feel like you never know. It could pick up like 3 months from now, a
You
month
never
from
know.
now.
It can hit at any time.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about music today, how songs are coming back from 10 years ago
It's
and
so
they're becoming
true.
a single now.
Yeah.
It was a B-side.
Yes.
So it's like interesting to see what songs and what could happen now with music.
Yep.
But, wish you all the best
Thank
of
you
luck.
so
Always
much.
will support you.
And appreciate you for giving me,
Yes.
this time, and you're doing such a great job for
Oh,
so
thank
many
you, thank you.
artists. And, we need you. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You got it.
And it's Nick Gallo, Gallo the guy you know, here with Jim Verraros.